Morning everybody, hope everybody's doing okay. It's Chris Howarth here, founder of Making Changes. This is going to be something I'm doing for Instagram TV. I'm learning as I go, and I've since found out that you can only do these videos for 15 minutes. The one I did recently was 40 minutes long on Facebook, which I would still urge you to go and have a look at if you can. There's already been one person that's contacted me off the back of that, who's admitted that they've got a problem, and I'm meeting them on Saturday to hopefully start helping them through that problem with the program. But the reason for today, and I'll have to be swift because I do like to ramble on and try and keep it to 15 minutes, is part of my morning ritual started all the way back when I started treatment in the Priory group, where in each group therapy session in the morning, we were given a book like this. So it's called The Promise of a New Day by Karen Casey and Martha Vansberg. And if you go onto Amazon, you can get different copies, brand new or used, in all different manner of designs. And essentially what they have is little messages on each page for each date of the year. Now it's like everything, some dates you read and you get something out of it and it's a really powerful message. Other days, not so much, but generally you do tend to get something. And the idea is that you read through it, but don't just do that. Read through it and then try and interpret it in a way which kind of makes some sense to you. Now these books can be used for people who suffer from addiction, but it's also whether it's for some sort of trauma, codependency, or some sort of mental health disorder. So they can be really helpful. They're ultimately, spiritual guides with lots of good stuff in there. There's lots of things in there that are written from the olden times, but in quite modern language. So what I'll do, I'll get to it. I'll read out what today's reading is, and then I'll kind of put my spin on it. But then obviously you can use that yourself as well, to maybe interpret it how you want to, and then hopefully take that into your day ahead. So where we're at 2 minutes, so we're good, we're quite good for time. So December the 14th, and the way it starts off is with a statement, and then a paragraph, and then a kind of finishing statement. So the statement reads, "The cruelest lies are often told in silence," and that's by a person that's quite well known called Robert Louis Stevenson. And I guess my first interpretation of that is there's positive lies where we actively lie and say something that's false, and there's those negative kind of lies where we stay silent in situations where we could actually say something that could help somebody. And there might be different reasons for doing that. There might be legitimate reasons why we don't want to do that, but there also might be selfish reasons. And it comes back to a lot of what this stuff that I talk about in the program. It's about our own integrity, but it's about the intention behind the silence that we might take in that lie by not coming up with something. So for example, you find these sorts of situations in the workplace a lot. It might be something to do with a relationship or a friend that you know that's in a relationship or something like that. Very, very difficult areas. And I'm not professing to go steaming in and start saying things because it might end up causing trouble. What I am saying is to consider it, because sometimes saying nothing can be, as Robert Stevenson says, can be one of the forms of the cruelest lies that are out there. In terms of the actual paragraph, so it reads, and we'll break this down. "Is it frequent that we fail to come forth to explain, defend, or offer support? Remaining silent is always our option, no matter how grave the situation." So let's break that down. Is it frequent that we fail to come forth to explain, defend, or offer support? And that can come down to our personality sometimes, and whether we're an assertive person. Do we feel it's our business to actually say something? A lot of the times, I quite like to keep out of any sort of trouble or what might be perceived to be conflict, and leave things to other people to sort out, and that can be fine. I guess it's about wisdom and finding what's the right balance for us in terms we feel that we do have almost a responsibility to step in and actually, defend somebody or offer some sort of support, depending, I guess, on the seriousness of the situation. We don't want to become a busybody that's going too far, where we become involved in all manner of situations which don't really concern us. So it's about that balance. Remaining silent is always our option, no matter how grave the situation. And that's taking ownership of whether we do actually remain silent or not. And it's not sort of making out that, we don't have an option and we can't say anything because of this or because of that. We always do have an option of whether we stay silent or not. And that helps with empowerment. It's about taking ownership about our decisions and standing by those decisions. And it means that we've given thought and rationalisation as to why we make a decision, as to whether that's a positive or negative one, depending on which way we go with it. So the next part, holding back information that would ease another's pain or shed light on a hateful experience is cruel. And that is when we are getting into the point where we almost have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, should we have said something? Because there are situations, and I know I've done it, where I've looked back and I've thought, I probably should have said something there. But because of my own, I guess, fear and being scared of any repercussions or becoming involved in some sort of drama, that's prevented me from doing so. But that can then potentially cause harm to somebody that I care about by not actually saying something. So holding back information, whatever that information might be, and it might be something criminal, for example, that would ease another's pain. It might be something, whether you're talking about a marital affair or something like that. Again, difficult subjects to get involved in, but it's about just understanding, our own integrity and our own intentions behind making our decisions or not. But shedding light on a hateful experience and not doing so can be deemed as cruel. The effects of cruel acts will find their way back to the actor. So that's essentially saying that if we continue to do those things and we continue to ignore acts of cruelty, eventually they will find their way back to us. And that's not necessarily by sort of a karmic action that something bad will happen to us. I don't necessarily believe that. But what I do think it can do is it can build up baggage within us, and it can build up guilt and shame and chip away at our self-esteem, especially if we've got a conscience where, deep down we're thinking that we should be doing something, and a lot of the time we won't be doing something, and it will invariably be down to fear of some sort and a lack of courage as to why we're not doing that. So perhaps that's something that we might need to work on in order to maybe be more assertive, in order to take action. And as the axiom, an old statement says, as we sow, so shall we reap. And that's the same sort of situation that we've been talking about there. The next part goes on to say, perhaps we need reminding that our performance is unique and essential to those around us. And I guess that's depends on our social circle. And we kind of have a responsibility, because those that are around us in our social circle invariably are going to be people that we care about and that we want the best for. And so we definitely do have a responsibility to do the right thing and sort of speak up at the right time, as long as it's done with the right intentions and with integrity that sits behind it. Because together we move forward in concert. I do believe there's this kind of ripple effect that we all kind of, we rub off on each other, and people get vibes from each other, and we can pick up on these kind of signals from each other. And if they're all coming from a good place and places of concern, they can be helpful. And some of the most difficult conversations I've had have been from my spiritual teachers who have been completely open and honest with me about when I'm doing something that's not particularly right or good or helpful. And it's never been taken personally by me. What it's done, it's helped the relationship, it's helped build trust, it's helped build understanding, and most of all, it's helped me personally. So if you're in that sort of group, which hopefully you are, and you have that type of friendship, and you're acting in that way that has that good intention that sits behind it, even though those difficult conversations can be they can be difficult, by avoiding them, we're essentially being cruel by avoiding them. So it's about building up that courage to actually have those conversations, and stand by our reasons for doing so. And I remember one example about my mentor asking me to apologise to somebody at work. And I couldn't believe it, because I honestly felt that this other person at work had really, really wronged me. And it was the way I was kind of advised to apologise. Not to say sorry as if it was me in the wrong, but to say sorry about how I made that other person feel. And you know what? I did it I took a leap of faith, and it absolutely worked. And it changed my perspective on so many things, and it changed my relationship with this person at work. It completely calmed the whole situation down. Now, if my mentor had taken the option of not saying anything to me, that could have been deemed as being cruel, because it wouldn't have been to the benefit of me. So he had the courage and the honesty to tell me what I needed to hear. And fortunately, I was able to act on it, and it benefited me, the other person, and everybody involved as a whole. And so we finish off by saying, we're alive to honour one another's presence, and only when we're fully present, honest, and straightforward are we fulfilling our role. And that kind of links back to what I've just said about the situation with my mentor, telling me that we're alive to honour one another's presence, through respect and to help each other. And we live in difficult times at the moment. We live in a very polarised society, and I think the more that we can kind of remember those things as a whole, that we're there to honour one another's presence and help each other, the better it is for everybody in society, whether this is in relation to helping somebody with addiction or just in general. And when we're fully present and when we're fully honest, we tend to find that our intentions, excuse me, and our integrity are much more pure, and they're not based on any ulterior motives. And the more straightforward we are, the easier it is to fulfill our role in all those things we've talked about, in terms of being fully present and honest in each other's presence. And we finally finish, and this is the kind of affirmation for today, which is, today I share centre stage with all those people around me. And for me, it will be, people at work, where there will be difficult conversations. There will be conversations where I'll have to be assertive, where I'll have to be kind, where I'll have to be understanding, where I'll have to be empathetic, where I'll have to be honest. But I'll have to take, and I will try, so I won't have to take, but I will choose to try and take everything that I've learned from this reading into, whatever circumstances come my way today. And the final line is to let me speak my lines fully. And that's to have confidence, belief, and to understand that my intentions are coming from the right place, that I think about it before I actually say something, to make sure that what I'm saying isn't cruel, and that it's coming from the best place, and that it can be kind. So we've got through quite a lot there. I've done it within the 15 minutes, which I think is an accomplishment for myself. You might notice, if you've seen a couple of my videos, I'm doing it from a different place today. I tend to do it from my office sometimes because there's loads of books behind me, and that makes me look really clever. But today I'm just actually doing it from the dining table, just as a bit of change of scenery. Anyway, I hope you get something from that. I will be doing more videos, and hopefully you'll continue to find those helpful. I'd appreciate any comments, any feedback. If you want any advice on any books that I read, I've got loads of resources, loads of ideas about other books or audio books, or people that I can point you towards, whether it's on YouTube or whatever. And most of all, I'd appreciate it if you could share the videos, share it with your friends, and help spread the message of myself, Chris Howarth, and also making changes, because we are trying to grow and we are trying to make a real difference, especially as we move into 2021. Thanks for your time, and have a great day.